Hello everyone, I'm Joey Ferris and welcome back to Sac-Anime's official YouTube page. Sac-Anime is 3 months away, August 29th through 31st at the Sacramento Convention Center, but if you don't want to wait that long, we still have an event planned for you on June 1st. It is called Sac-Con. It is a much smaller event, but we still have big name guests. Take for example, our guest today, DC Douglas. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
Perfect. All right. So first question, general question.
Wait, you know how you are first. How are you doing? Yeah,
I'm doing just fine. I mean, I had to look up some of your interviews before this, and I'm like, wow, this guy is very interesting. Can't wait to interview him.
He just has no filters.
Oh, yes. We got to keep this PG-13, though.
Okay, of course.
And if you swear, we'll just bleep it out.
Unbelievable.
So, how would you get into the acting business?
Well, it's. I think it's partly genetic. My grandfather worked in vaudeville. Same with my grandmother. My grandmother went on to do burlesque, and I actually found a film of hers from 1952 of her doing burlesque in Hawaii. So it's been in the family. So I think at age 7, I wanted to be an actor. From watching a Hollywood and the Stars thing, and told my parents that I was going to be an actor, and of course they laughed it off. And then I think I was 11, I had a single mom raising me, came home from a horrible day at work, and she sat both her kids down, and she said, I don't want you to have the life that I'm having, so you need to figure out what you want to do with your life that makes you happy, and you need to start working towards that right now. So my sister said, rock and roll star. It's the late 70s, and I said, I wanted to be an actor. So my sister had to look up a singing class, and I had to look up a theater company. And I started with the San Jose Children's Musical Theater in San Jose. And then from there, I just started, I did a lot of theater, and never stopped doing theater. It was in high school. The only way I was able to get through high school is I was in the drama class, and then I was a tutor on one of the drama, not a tutor, a teacher's assistant on one of the drama classes for my elective. And my other elective was a teacher's assistant, same teacher on his English class, which of course he would just let me go and paint sets for the whatever play we were doing. So that was so it's always been acting. And then I came down to LA when I was 19 to pursue a career in film and TV.
Well, you and I have something in common. I spent my entire high school career in theater classes as well. Not one semester without a theater class. That's
beautiful. You're in Sacramento, right?
Yes.
Right. Oh, very cool. That's where Tom Hanks started, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Sac State. That's what we're known for, the Kings and Tom Hanks. I don't know. Not so much the Kings anymore, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So most people, especially gamers, never forget the gamers, recognize you as the voice of Albert Wesker in the Resident Evil franchise. So how was that experience as a whole?
As a whole?
Like, just not even the whole recording process. I know that I've been interviewing other voice actors. They say that's kind of just straightforward to go through, but fans love you for being Albert Wesker.
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes it so amazingly unique. Though I will say, because the first time I did Wesker was Umbrella Chronicles, and that was a regular record session like you would have with any of the video games. But when I was brought back, I auditioned for the mocap for RE5. I had thrown my back out. It was back in the days when I wasn't in the best of shape. I had thrown my back out, and so all I could do was walk around the stage and hold a gun. And they were trying to get me to do flips and things. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So, but they said, well, you're definitely the voice. Don't worry. And but that session was fascinating because that was when they implemented facial mocap. They were experimenting, and they wanted the characters to have facial mocap. So I had all these little dots, not dots, little metal things they put on balls on my face. And then I was in a room with it was a rig with all these cameras, 180-degree cameras, and lasers pointed at the face. And so I had to be really animated, but I could not use my arms. And if I was talking to two people, like I might move here and here just for the feel of it. But they're like, no, you have to pretend that you're. Because in a usual VO session when they're not doing that, you can, like you see, I'm Italian. You can gesture all you want and just like you have to get sounds for efforts. You're going to make weird things. You're going to go things like that. And of course, you can't do that when they were with that. So I had to be going and it was most bizarre. So that was a remarkable recording session for a video game. Compared to any other video game I've done up until NBA 2K14, where I actually got to do the whole mocap voiceover simultaneously thing, which is like acting in theater in the round in a close-up. It was and we get to improv as well, which made that a really phenomenal experience as well. So those were like my two. There were two games that really stand out as far as the recording experience. It would be Resident Evil 5 and NBA 2K14. But the fans are what makes the Resident Evil stuff so amazing. It's I didn't understand why I was getting, friend requests on Facebook, from these strangers. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to be your friend. I don't know who the hell you are. What the f*** do you want? Sorry. Oh, yeah. I got two bleeps. Okay. I'm like, I don't know who you guys are. And then all of a sudden I kind of realized that it was the Resident Evil thing. I go, well, I better start a fan page. I didn't think I needed one before that, so I started one. I thought I'll just promote my voiceover career and things like that. And I got a home studio biz I do. So I started that, and then it went from 50 fans once I put it up there the first day, and then by the end of the week it was 1,000. It was like, wow. And I thought, I have 1,000 fans. Now I think I'm at 19,000 or something. But again, it's just wild. So. And the fact that the longer it goes from the very last one that I've done, because he died in RE5, and then I did, I think, 2 or 3 other ancillary connected games after that with Albert Wesker. And I think the last one of that was 2011, if I remember correctly, or maybe 12, maybe 2011. And then since then, he's gotten more and more popular. I'm getting more and more fans that I guess the way video games work is they discover the games and they want to go back and play earlier versions, and then they go, who's this person, and that kind of thing. And so it's a new crop of fans coming around. It's pretty wild, and I talk a lot.
All right, this is the big question.
Oh gosh.
I've been hearing you recently received your biggest break with the massive blockbuster known as Sharknado 2.
Sharknado 2, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. I think
second one.
It is the second one, yeah. I don't know. Without this break, I don't know where I would be. Probably the same place, just without that credit. But anyway,
George Clooney started with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm almost 30 years in Los Angeles, so I think. Yeah, some people get their breaks, other people just work towards a break, and the break being that you die and you don't have to try anymore.
Of course.
I'm on that track.
Anything you can tell us about Sharknado?
They said, yes, hashtag Sharknado 2 is what we can say. I'm not allowed to say anything about, I guess I could say I shot it in New York. That was cool. It literally was a one-day shoot. It was probably one of the hardest one-day shoots I've ever done. Physically, it was a hard shoot because I can't describe that, can I? I can say that it involved water and wearing clothes that don't go well with water, and then also, we were moving at a really fast pace, and it was also freezing, and so wet, water, freezing, New York, and that's about all I guess I can say, except that it's fun if they keep my scene in there, because it's basically I'm one little tiny section. They have little cameo moments and things, and I don't know if I'd qualify as a cameo, but the guys that are head of Asylum are I've worked with them many times, and I've known them since the late 90s, and they're sweethearts, and so I was very happy that they put me in this movie. So this is kind of I can't describe any of the things, I'm sorry, but it's really fun. I enjoyed it, and it'll be cheesy fun, and I look forward to it. And hopefully the whole segment's in the film, and then it'll go on my demo reel, and then it'll make people want to vomit. Because it's gooey.
Question number 4. Your voice is awesome.
Well, thank you.
Is there anything you do, like vocal warm-ups, to improve the quality of your voice over the years?
To improve over the years? No. This is just the way the voice was born, kind of thing. And the way I was raised. My mother has a very articulate way of speaking, and it was especially effective when she was punishing me. It's a way to make you feel really bad when you enunciate every word as to what you did bad. But no, I think the only thing that I do is I have thick lips that are stiff in the morning. They don't look as thick now, but when I was younger, they were thicker. But I also had a basal cell tumor. It's a form of cancer that developed over my lip over in my 20s, and I thought it was just like one of those, moles that show up that are clear. And then in my 30s, on one audition, they asked, is he going to do anything about it? And I realized I looked at like an old film that I was in, and what it is now, and I went, wow, it got bigger. That's probably not good. So they went biopsy. Turned out it was cancer. They had to take a third of my lip out and bring it together. And I was really, that was one of the scary things where you're like going, I may not have an on-camera career after this operation. I don't know. And once it was done, the only thing I noticed is that my lips in the morning were really stiff. So I have to do a lot of, so I'm going to do it for you now, a lot of that kind of stuff. So that it's a little loose in the morning, and then I'll go through the alphabet. So and the alphabet is like A A A A A A A A A A B B B B B B B, all the sounds that go with whatever that letter is. And just it's whatever works for you. There doesn't have to be any one actual regimen. So some people like to do baby buggy bumper. I can do it.
Baby buggy bumpers.
Baby buggy bumper. I can't do it. But they like to do that kind of stuff. And I'll just do the alphabet, repeatedly all the way through. And once I've done that, then I feel like I'm pretty warmed up. So.
What's your favorite part about what you do?
The money. No,
it's a nice bonus.
A lie. I'm not going to lie. Actually, it partly is the money. I get to be, it's make believe. It's really funny. Actually, I'll say, I say the money, and that's not necessarily true because you think, for instance, the highest paying gig I could get is doing a tag announce on a national campaign, such as Geico, which I had for a couple of years. You go in, you say one sentence, it's put on 10 commercials, and it's run like crazy, and then you get all these checks continually throughout the year. That's insane. Was that fun? Sure, it was fun. It was very little work and all of that. But what's more fun than that? More fun for that is me going and doing a day on like Two Broke Girls or something. Doing an on-camera role and making 1/16th, even less than that, of what I would get on a national campaign. So like give you like a really big national campaign, you can make $100,000, let's say, in a year. But let's say you're only going to get a little above scale when you go to do the one-day work on a sitcom, and you get what, $1,100. So you know what I mean? You look at the difference. But which did I enjoy more? And the labor, especially the labor. On that one day, I worked 8 hours, maybe even 12 or 14, and I got a little overtime. But then that commercial, I went in for a half hour and I was done. But I enjoyed that full day way more because it was make-believe and I got to do it. So the money is a secondary thing. Like the money is really fun, but I would do it even if I didn't get paid that, especially for the on-camera stuff. It's just nice to not have to work a survival job. If you get enough of those gigs, you don't have to work a survival job in between, which I did for many years. I was a waiter and all those other things, and a personal assistant, and then I started an editing company for that. The guy that I was a personal assistant for, I did all the way until I was 38, and then I decided I needed to make the jump into just doing all acting, and and hope that I would make enough gigs in between to pay my bills, and it worked out great. So.
It's like waiting is one of those stereotypical actor jobs on the side.
Well, they say, I guess, yeah. I started as a waiter. I did a lot of waiting jobs, and I hated that. And then I got into, and then I started to look into. But that's the thing is, you think about what is it you want to do, and you do it, and then you go, well, this I don't want to. I don't want to be a waiter while I'm trying to get these acting gigs. So you can create. If you think it through and then you start looking for it, turns out you can find these other opportunities. And for me, I thought, I want to be kind of a personal assistant. What did that lead me to? Led me to working for my acting coach for her school for a little bit. Led me to an envelope company for a week that turned out to be a horrible thing. But from that, I knew what I didn't want, and I didn't want to work in an office. So then I started looking for unusual personal assistant jobs. And then I ended up meeting this great guy, I was going to say his name, and I thought, I better not, because everyone will hit him up for money, because he's very rich.
I know I will.
Yeah, but I got a great gig. I landed this gig, and I was the first guy he had ever hired, because he only ever hired female personal assistants. And so I was the first guy that he'd hired as a personal assistant, and that led me to many wonderful things. So, but had I just said, if I just said, well, I'm just waiting tables is the best way because you make the tips and you can, trade shifts and things like that. I might have never met him, and I would have never done I would have done my first full produced play or film short. or learn editing. I mean, there's a lot of things I got out of that. Now I'm basically my own PR machine because of all the things I learned working with him and him giving me the freedom to do that stuff. But it all starts with you envisioning what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want. When you realize what you don't want, then you can turn and start looking at the positive. Kids.
Last question, general question I ask everyone I interview. What's your advice for aspiring actors?
Don't do it.
That's what they all say. No joke.
It is, and actually that's what they said to me when I took this repertory workshop one summer when I was, I guess I was about 12 or 13. And the teacher said, the first day of the class, we're all sitting around, and she's like, if you can do anything else other than acting and you're happy, do it. Because you'll spend more times not being happy than being happy as an actor, struggling for bills and juggling jobs and all of that. And that's the truth. So, I mean, but at the same time, I would say if you really want to be an actor, don't let other people tell you not to be. To say, don't let people, can you bleep? Get ready to bleep.
Okay.
Don't let people on your dreams. If they're giving you advice to help you or just helping you clarify, do you really want that? That's one thing. But if they're just negative Nancy's, then F them, forget about them, and follow your dreams, and you'll make it work. But you have to do it. It doesn't fall in your lap. No one else is going to make it. The big break doesn't happen because somebody met you, and then they do things for you. The big break is because you did all of this stuff to create opportunities, and it's about more opportunities. And the only way you get those opportunities is by you creating them. And it's a nonstop thing. At every level in the career, you have to continually work to make your own break. I go in and I read on a sitcom for a guest role, and there are other actors that were series regulars on shows, in previous years that are reading for the same thing I'm reading, working, and this might be even a scale job these days. It might be, and they'll still be there reading for that. That's the competition that you've got, because everybody, even if they hit it big for a little while, then they come back down and they still have to work their way to the next opportunity, the next gig. So yes, it sounds horribly negative, but if you enjoy doing it and you're willing to kick your own butt to get there, and there keeps changing, then go for it, is what I say. I don't know if that's good advice or not.
No, it's great. I mean, The truth hurts sometimes, but it's also helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank my guest for being here, DC Douglas. What does DC stand for?
Domestically challenged, damn cunning, devilishly cute. I'm not going to tell you. I think that's
so. DC. All right. So I hate to put you on the spot, but can Albert Wesker take us out?
Absolutely. You've been listening to an interview for Sac-Con. Is it Sac-Con?
Yes, it is.
For Sac-Anime. Shh! I'm working! You've been listening to an absolutely fascinating interview with DC Douglas and Joseph Ferris for Sac-Anime's Sac-Con. We'll see you there, June 1st. Be there, now!